Thank you. On behalf of the OPTIC investigators, it is my pleasure to present the Cohort 1 data from a phase 1 trial of intravitreal anti-VEGF therapy. My disclosures are here and found in the program. At ADVM Biotherapeutics, I serve as a consultant and I have equity in. Undertreatment of wet AMD patients in the real world leads to suboptimal visual acuity outcomes. There are multiple approaches in order to improve those outcomes and decrease the treatment burden. Today, we will focus on in-office intravitreal gene therapy with delivery of aflibercept. ADVM-022 is an advanced intravitreal gene therapy designed for long-term VEGF suppression via the production of aflibercept. The 7M8 vector was developed specifically for intravitreal injection, enabling robust protein production following delivery to the retina. With a single intravitreal injection of 022, primate data has demonstrated robust and stable long-term aflibercept expression out to 30 months in the therapeutic range of aflibercept. In the CMV model, 13 months after administration of 022, the efficacy was similar to that of aflibercept bolus given at the time of laser. OPTIC is a phase 1 two-year study of a single in-office intravitreal injection of 022 in previously treated macular degeneration patients. The focus of this presentation is the 24-week data. ADVM-022 is administered 7 to 14 days following an aflibercept injection. All patients receive prophylactic oral steroids. If any protocol-defined criteria are met, the patients could receive rescue injections. Prior to enrollment in OPTIC, the Cohort 1 patients required frequent injections to maintain vision. Diagnosed with AMD 3.3 years prior, on average they had 35 intravitreal injections, which comes to about 6 injections in the previous 8 months. ADVM-022 was safe and well tolerated. All the safety signals that were seen in the Cohort 1 subjects are up on that table. Inflammation related to 022 was generally mild and responsive to steroid eye drops. There was no vasculitis, no retinitis, and no choroiditis. Best corrected visual acuity was maintained out to week 24. Central retinal thickness was improved out to week 24. Here's one patient in Cohort 1 who received 109 injections prior to enrollment in OPTIC. Anti-VEGF injections were required every 5 to 6 weeks in order to maintain vision, but as you can see, the fluid never goes away. After receiving a single in-office intravitreal injection of 022, the fluid completely resolves by week 8, and there's no signs of activity out to 24 weeks. No rescue injections were required in this patient in the trial. The response seen in this patient was typical in all patients in Cohort 1. As reported at Retina Society, no rescue injections are required by any of the subjects, any of the patients in Cohort 1 through week 24. OCTs of all subjects at all follow-ups can be found online. Here is additional data from the OPTIC Cohort 1 trial through October 1st data cut. The median follow-up was 34 weeks, that's approximately 8 months. No new safety concerns are noted, visual acuity is maintained, and no rescue injections are required in any of the patients. Here are each of the patients from baseline to last follow-up. The first 3 patients are shown on this slide. Patient 1 is out to over 10 months. Patients 2 and 3 out to 9 months. Anatomical improvements seen at week 24 continue out to the last follow-up. The remaining 3 patients are shown here. Once again, anatomical improvements continue out to last follow-up. As a reminder, these patients previously required frequent injections. In the 8 months prior to OPTIC, the 6 patients in the first cohort received 37 injections. With a median of 8-month follow-up, after intravitreal gene therapy, no rescue injections were required. In this first 6 patients, ADVM-022 was safe and well tolerated. Inflammation was generally mild and manageable with steroid eye drops. There was a consistent and sustained anatomical improvement on OCT with maintenance of visual acuity. There were 0 rescue injections required in any subject, 0 rescue based on the criteria in the trial or any other ongoing or recently completed AMD trial. Enrollment in Cohort 3 is ongoing. Cohort 3 will use topical steroids instead of systemic steroids, and diabetic retinopathy IND is to be submitted early next year. I'd like to thank all the investigators, study teams, and participants, and our reading center, ORIC. Thank you.